Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day to everyone watching.
Good morning, good morning.
How's it going?
Happy Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, that's what day it is.
Almost the weekend.
Yeah.
How's it going, Greg?
It's going well. Yeah, I'm excited for a nice relaxing weekend that we actually never take, but should take.
I know. That's the thing. When you're an entrepreneur, you work around the clock.
Yeah.
We ask ourselves, what day of the week is it? But it's irrelevant.
It is. It is. But that's
because-
not what we recommend.
Yeah, I know.
It's just kind of how it happens.
It's all right.
Yeah. We enjoy it. That's the thing. We love it. So for
Yeah.
us, it's like, I wouldn't do anything else.
Exactly.
This is
Like that's
love
what
to do.
I want to be working on. So.
Yeah.
So our topic is really definitely it hits home for me, and I think for you too. It's one of these topics that it's like you think about it and you're like, of course that would be the case. But then in practice, it might not be reflected in what we do on a day-to-day.
I'm on the edge of my seat
I
here.
know. What's the topic? So the topic of this discussion is about, how having good social connections can actually help us live longer, healthier, happier lives. Isn't that incredible?
It's a big claim.
Well, I'm not the one who makes this claim. There are people, so we have there's a lot of research, and I'm going to link some articles below for you to check out. Different researchers, different groups of people are looking into how there's a connection between longevity and your sort of happiness throughout your life in relation to what your network looks like. And I'm not talking about like knowing 100 people, having a network on social of like 1 million or 13,000, which is great. I mean, good for you.
So by that metric, Beaver's gonna live till
Right,
1,000.
exactly. Right. So there's not, we're not talking about that kind of thing. If anything, that's in and of itself something to be looked at. Social media, friends, and
Right.
followers in relation to longevity. But this is actually about the people that you interact with, the person that you can call at 4 a.m. in the morning, the people that you can, laugh with, cry with, anybody that is really going to be there for you, who is in that social group. And this could be 1 or 2 people, right? But it's the quality that counts.
Right. We're talking about deep, meaningful, enduring friendships.
Yeah, exactly. And this can be with your, family, your friends, your neighbors that turned into good friends, right? It doesn't
Your spouse.
Your business partner, right? It doesn't have to be like, I don't know, just
Doesn't have to be structured.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. Exactly. Thank you, Greg.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really important, right? When you think about, with this new research that's emerging about, social connections in relation to happier, healthy, longer lives, your first instinct after watching this might be like, okay, well, I have to go call 5 people now and start, checking in. No, that's not the point of this. The point is to really invest in the relationships that you have. Let go of the ones that are no longer serving you or the other person, right? There's no shame in that. That's okay. And just, really nurturing the ones that are mutually beneficial, right? We talked about energy vampires. That's not what we're looking for, this unbalanced relationship. It's a two-way street, right?
Yeah.
Communication, relationships, two-way streets.
Yeah. It's funny. This is something that I've certainly heard as well and read about.
Yeah.
And have seen a lot of very convincing data backing up. And when I apply it to my own life, it's challenging because I have a great group of friends, and I live with my best friend, and I love spending time with them and engaging in social activities. At the same time, there's this other part of me that loves to just buckle down,
Crank out work.
get into a room, like hermit up, and just crank on work, right? And just sort of isolate myself entirely and get as much done as I can, because it feels so good to be productive, to be in flow state.
Yeah. So
for me, it's like a frustrating but inevitable truth, right? Like I treasure my relationships, but at the same time, I love to sort of spend time alone and get work done.
Absolutely.
And negotiating that balance between the two has been a challenge for me. and I know I should do more of the social.
Yeah.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, that really is what makes us human.
Right. So I definitely agree with you on that. I think it's really important to figure out the balance. And also, you know, when you do spend time with these people, to make the best of it, make the most of it, and really engage fully, right? So meaning you're not on your phone texting other friends, you're not, you know, I don't know, doing something else and haphazardly listening. You know, you're really engaged, you're practicing active listening, you're in that moment. And it's quality interaction as opposed to just like constantly interacting with people online or in Zoom, but it's not fully engaged.
Yeah.
So I think we when we do go to social events, at least in the before when we would go, you know, weddings and whatnot, social activities, we I think did a really good job of fully engaging, and you know, in the moments that we're not with people like some, you know, our friends and other new social connections, we then, you know, just focus on work and creativity, and we do a lot of talking ourselves too. So that's, I think it's the balance, right?
Yeah, I love this, the point that you're driving home, which is quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about you have to meet up with your friends every day or even every week. It's not that you have to have hour-long phone calls. You know, it's about you know, making the most of the time that you do have with them.
For sure.
And that is the approach that I take.
Yeah.
And I found it's worked very well for me personally. Right?
I agree. Yeah. Same for me.
Yeah. When I'm with my friends, my phone is nowhere near me. I don't even think about. I make sure that if I'm going to hang out with friends, that any work that I needed to get done is out of the way, so it's not sitting over me.
Yeah.
Right? I clear my mind the same way I would if I was going to go into an interview or a client meeting, right?
Yeah.
Something that was really high stakes for me.
Right.
I go into my social engagements with that same mindset.
Yeah.
Where I'm going there to spend time with them and do nothing else.
Right.
And that, I think that sort of deliberate focus, you generate so much return from it that it carries me over for quite a bit of time until the next social engagement.
Exactly. And, you know, there's only so much cognitive load we can handle when it comes to really, you know, investing in people, right? And so in The Tipping Point, a book by Malcolm Gladwell, I think, yes, I recently read, when they were, I think it was Bell, when they were figuring out the numbers, right, how many number combinations you can have, they made it 7 because that for us is sort of the maximum cognitive load that we can take in terms of remembering digits.
So you're saying if you're trying to remember like a password or something, the longest string of numbers
that
you
we'll
can remember
is 7.
The maximum number of digits is 7.
Right, like effortlessly, at least most human beings.
Okay, so that's why you're saying that's how the phone number came about as 7 numbers.
Exactly. So when they did longer numbers, people couldn't really retain that a numerical number in their head, the number in their head. And so it's similar with friendships, right? I'm not saying to have 7 friends, or if you do have 7 friends, that's great. I mean, that's quite a lot, right? Think about how much you engage with them as opposed to 50 friends. If you really had 50 friends and you were engaging with them on a like daily basis or even a weekly basis, that would be a lot of time if it's done correctly.
you would have no time.
You would have
no personal time.
Yeah, you would have no time to do anything other than engaging with your friends. And that's your prerogative, right? That's fine. But in a more balanced setting, we don't need that many friends to fill that sort of like quota.
Yeah, I mean, going back to your Malcolm Gladwell example. So 7 numbers.
Yeah.
7 digits, right?
So I didn't really properly set that up. There was a study where they showed dots on a blank screen. And they said, okay, we'll look at the dots. Now, how many dots flashed across your mind? It could have been more than 7, but you will only remember you will know if it's more than 7 or fewer than 7.
Yep.
So 7's like
You're right. So, okay, so 7 digits. Our phone numbers, if you think about it now, are actually 10 digits, right? We didn't when we first came with phone numbers, we didn't think about area codes,
Oh, that's true.
right?
Yes, you're right.
So what does that mean though?
Yeah.
If you look into that, what that means is there was a time when the only people we really called were the people in our little area, right? We didn't have social media connecting us to 50, 100 people.
You're right.
So for most of humanity's existence, of people that we knew, forget our friends, just the total group of people we knew was actually very small. So if you think about our natural state of being, right? It's actually to be interacting with way, way fewer people than we do currently.
Absolutely.
And this is a personal hypothesis, but I suspect there's data that backs it up.
Yeah.
Because nowadays we get so exposed to so many people, it erodes our ability to really engage with any individual person, right? And so, like fully. And so not only do you not need 50 good friends, it probably is counterproductive because it prevents you from engaging with a smaller group of friends in a more meaningful way.
I think that is so on point. I love that hypothesis. I think you should write a communication dissertation on it. Seriously, it's very, very on point. There was something else in that book that was that stood out to me quite prominently. The tipping point again. Something like humans we're hardwired to really be in communities of 150 to 250 people, like tribes, right? That's from our cave people ancestry and heritage. So beyond that number, I can't remember if it's 150 or 250, you have to forgive me. I was listening to it on 1.35x, so maybe. I'm just kidding. But it's around that. And so it's not that big, right? And now think of people's like massive followings. Even at Explearning, we're so grateful to all of you tuning in. We have, over 4K, and that's a lot, right? But if you were to engage with every single person on your social media accounts, you would have no time in the day. So really dialing back, maybe, still have your social accounts. That's great, but when you come to when it comes to having in-person social interaction or interaction with the, inner circle group, people that you can call at 4 a.m. without hesitation, really invest in those relationships.
Yeah.
And it could be like 3 people.
Yeah, and I would actually argue that if you're into social media and that sort of facet of the world, by all means do it. But I'm of the opinion that it should in no way be related to this idea of actual social interaction, right? Social media engagement is it's like bike riding, or it's as different as
spinning.
My point is, anything. It's as different as baking. Right? It's not in any way related to social interaction, real social interaction.
For sure.
So it's frustrating that it has the name social in it.
I know, it should have.
It should just be called network media or something. It shouldn't be called social media. It should be called network media. Because that's what it is. It's about networking. That can be fun, and that can be, a passion of yours to build up, an audience and follow other people, right? That's all great.
Yeah.
But that's not social interaction, right? That's a different activity that can have its benefits along with its drawbacks, but has nothing to do with social interaction.
Right.
So when you hear us talking about these studies about the importance of engaging with people, you can't think of that because it just has no bearing on how those studies are conducted.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And so that was my little soapbox about the term social media.
No, it's a very good point that you bring up, because those two seem like they're related, but they shouldn't be conflated. And one is not a replacement for the other. Scrolling on social media is one thing. Chatting with people on social media is one thing that you may know or may not know in real life, in person. But having these close-knit relationships and bonds to even just one other person, really, it doesn't have to be a huge network that you might be imagining in your mind right now. Just like if you can count 5 people on your hand, right?
Yeah.
That you like spending time with, invest in those kinds of relationships and really take care to practice active listening with them, asking about their day, helping them sort of if they're asking you for some advice, if you're in the position to give that advice, and vice versa, right? Really making it, I feel like now we're so fast paced, everyone's so busy, we forget to take time to call up a friend to even email a friend.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't let our other personal stuff get in the way, because there's so many repeated benefits on both sides of the friendship, right? That are worth, spending time on.
Yeah, I agree with that. Another important component of this is understanding your own personal needs, right?
Yeah.
Because some of us need more social interaction than others, right?
Yeah.
I opened up saying how I do mine in small, concentrated doses.
Yes.
For other people, that might not be the case. One of the podcasters I listen to, he's a very extroverted person, right? Jason Calacanis.
Yes. Okay.
He's a very successful, probably will become one of the most successful venture capitalists.
Wow.
But he's a very social guy, right? He's always out meeting with his, potential portfolio investments,
He's
new
a connector.
founders. He's a connector. He's
Yeah.
a major connector,
Yeah.
right? His whole life, he's built around being social, dinners, lunches, coffees, everything. So many people, right? So the past few months where social connection's been difficult has been really, really hard for him.
Yeah.
That's a person who needs more social interaction,
Yeah.
right? Compared to me, where, every month I feel like, okay, maybe it's time to hang out with someone.
Yeah.
But, once or twice a month for me is plenty.
Yeah.
And when I hang out, it's very
It's
substantial
hardcore
interaction.
hanging out. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. And, I think also calling up someone long distance, right? If you're in another geographic location, like spending quality time on the phone or on a video chat call, that's still, you still feel that benefit of engaging with them. So don't just think that you need to be in person. If you can't, right? In person is great. I mean, I personally love face-to-face communication. Of course, in the recent months, that has not really been available. Luckily, I've been able to, chat with you every day, which is very important and just so good for the mind, right? But, don't undervalue really leveraging other communication channels to keep the friendship alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And experiment with them, right? Figure out if you feel like you can't quite get the quality of interaction that you were hoping through a video call or a phone call, figure out why that is. See if are there different things you can do on the call to strengthen the relationship, right? I mean relationship in a general sense, but
friendship,
just to deepen the connection during that call. Whether maybe it's asking more probing questions, maybe it's opening up more in a way that you're not used to doing on the phone. The reality of the situation is we are forced to interact in ways we're not as used to. But you can look at that as an opportunity to learn new ways and get better at these unfamiliar ways of communicating. So you can look at it as a challenge. Again, if you're not getting the sort of the fulfillment that you were hoping to get or normally are used to getting from in-person interaction.
Right. Yeah, it's really interesting too with, the older populations. It's extremely important, social skills decline as we age, as you know from the video. And so by our 30s and 40s, we're starting to, other things get in the way, life and other things, other priorities. So our social skills, we're not really using them as much as we would have, as we were previously. So think of in your 20s, like we were both very social in our 20s and just like in college, right? We just, so many friends, just so many outdoor adventures.
Multiple days per week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Library.
Which is for me a lot.
Yeah, library meetups, like social events, breakfast together.
College was every day. Every day was a social day.
Totally. And that's great. That's part of, and a lot of our good friends are from college. We met each other in college. Anyway, enough rambling on. But the point is with older people, the people who seem to be, in good health and happiness as they get older have strong social connections.
Yeah.
And it again, let's not conflate it with big social networks. It's strong social connections.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't have much to add to that. I mean, that's the reality. Like if the people who are who seem most at peace in the older years are people who they've surrounded themselves, and I don't mean surround in a literal sense. I just mean they've maintained a network of people that care for them and they care for, and that keeps them happy and healthy.
It's true. Yeah. So invest in the relationships that you have. You don't need many of them. quality over quantity. And yeah, I mean, part of the reason we created Explearning, and you know, our whole spiel is about strengthening social connections through building, you know, resilient mindset and having that mental shift as well with social connections. Really, you know, leverage this resource and try out different aspects of it in your own social lives. So, you know, we have a range of topics here. And if there's anything that you want more of or an elaboration of, or if you see anything missing, then just let us know and we'll add it to the database, so to speak.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, we love it when you guys get engaged and weigh in. It enriches the community. So please do.
Exactly.
All right.
Well, thank you for joining us, and
Yes.
we will see you in the next lesson and live stream.
Exactly.
So happy Explearning, everyone. Have
Happy
a
Explearning.
wonderful day and weekend and week.
Yep.
All right.
Have a good one.
Bye.